checking the clock, taking slow like a metronome. Impatiently waiting for you beat to come on. I'm itching for that game, ready to dominate. These delays got me starting to hate. Oh, you man, won't you hurry up and start the show? Got my fingers twitching and my enthusiasm's flowing. This waiting ain't right, can't take it no more. I need those games, you ain't open up the door. Dreams come true. Waiting for you stream to start. It's gonna be so cool. The chat room's buzzing, the excitement's in the air. Everyone's jamming to the rockin' beats we share. Come on. Guitars wailing, drums crashing loud and clear. Loud and clear. UB Stream is the place where we all belong, my dear. Rockin' in the chat room, let the music play. UB Twitch stream gonna brighten up our day. Brighten up our day. We're a family united, bringing joy and cheer. Joy and cheer. Rockin' in the chat room, feel the love right here. The countdown's ticking, anticipation rising high. Rising high. With every second passing, we're ready to fly. Twitch stream gonna brighten up our day. Brighten up our day. We're a family united, bringing joy and cheer. Joy and cheer. Rocking in the chat room, feel the love right here. Right here.
The following film is presented in its complete theatrical version. It was rated R by the MPAA and may not be appropriate for children under 17. It is rated TV MA LSV and contains strong language, sexual situations, violence, and nudity. It is intended only for mature audiences. Viewer discretion advised.
I like steak.
Oh, capes are tight.
Check it out, Vanilla Thunder in the house. Dusted and ready for bed, bucket full of bars flowing from its head. Got hair flowing and long. Ruby's dropping jokes and songs of bomb. He's tired, kinda like milk that's expired. Vanilla Thunder from the plains of Texas. Vanilla Thunder is coming Lexus. Vanilla Thunder, giving catastrophe. That's just who he is. I for you be. Stepping out, laughs and love. That's what Yubi's about. Give the man some love and steak. Cause Yubi's passion, vibes and love. Yubi's got a Twitch stream, that's how he keep it. But his passion ain't been affected with his long ass hair and a grizzled beard. He's got so many stories, don't mean nothing weird. But he's got troubles, technical, the difficulties all around. Stream keeps crashing, no matter how it's bound. You be screaming at his computer, pulling his hair, but he's keeping on, never giving up. That ain't his flair. His computer smoking, flames shooting out the side. Yubi's dancing around trying to keep his cool inside. His hair's catching fire, beard singed up real bad, but he's still clicking buttons. Ain't no time to be sad. Ain't no time to be sad. But he's got troubles, technical difficulties all around. Stream keeps crashing, no matter how it's bound. You be screaming at his computer, pulling his hair, but he's keeping on, never giving up. That ain't his flair.
All right, now you should be able to hear the sultry voice of Ubi. There we go. We should have everything back to where it belongs. How is everybody doing? Obviously, my night is going really well. How is your night going? It is Tech Talk. Yes, and Tech Talk apparently is Ubi's tech is not working. No, literally, Adobe, one of my Adobe products decided that it was going to do an update right in the middle of me starting my stream. So that literally crashed NVIDIA broadcast, which, yeah, that caused it. So there we go. Make sure that goes away. I want that to go away. You get the hell out. You go away. I don't want anything to do with you. One moment as I get in there and make sure that Adobe can't restart its update. Stop. There we go. Now then, MIDI. Yes. So never mind the technical difficulties that started there because, you know, it's Windows, so just expect it to happen. Yes, MIDI. We are already 6 minutes behind the ball, and I got a lot to cover. So I've had a lot of questions about what exactly is MIDI, and that's because I hear a lot of you go, I don't even know what it is. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to explain just the basics of what MIDI is and kind of tell you what it is that, from like a guitarist point of view, what you would use it for. So MIDI is not sound. You may think of like MIDI files that play sound as being sound, but MIDI itself is not actually sound. MIDI is actually a control language. It's a remote control for music gear. Now, it can be used to send notes, so it can create sound, but it's not actually sound itself. Basically, it's kind of like a text message, really, if you want to think about it. It basically tells software and gear what it should do. Now, the software may be a synthesizer, so maybe it creates notes in music, being told, play this note for this length of time. But it's also used a lot more, especially in stuff like controlling equipment, and really used a lot for controlling software. So what exactly are messages? Now, there are multiple types of messages. As I said, like, for example, note is one of the message types, but that's not really that important for us as a guitarist. There's really three types of messages that are important to us. So it can send what is called a program change, or a PC, and that is used kind of to change an entire preset, like change your entire patch, for example, or to load an entire preset for your effect. Kind of like the way I switch from like my clean to my gain sound, or from one of my amps to another one. The second one is a control change. Now, that's actually doing things like turning something on or off. For example, like turning on a delay or turning a delay off. Or it can, for example, change the delay. Like, for example, you can send a command that's tied to your delay's depth or rate, and can change it from like a quarter note to a dotted quarter note, those sort of things. And then the other type is a continuous control change, which is kind of your expression pedal, and that is sweeps smoothly from a value from 0 to 127. Now, you don't need to know the actual number, but basically it's the pedals, the expression pedals. So it actually sends out a data value from a low point to a high point that can then be mapped to like a wah or a volume, so that you can get a smooth change from one part to the other. So, like I said, you don't need to know the numbers or anything along the lines, just the concepts behind them. Now, why should we care? It can let, for example, it can let one of the stomps on the new pedal that I got do multiple things. So, like, I could stomp on number 1, and it could send out program changes. It could send out control changes. It could send out multiple things, so it can control multiple different things at the same time. So in this case, the 127 and 1 is like a maximum value and a minimum value. So the actual number doesn't really matter. So it's like if you push the toe all the way down, it will send 127. If you push the heel all the way down, it sends a 0. And as you rock it, it sends values between the two. I believe it is trying to do the stupid update thing again. Yep. Stop that. There we go. And so basically it's up to whatever's receiving that data as to what those numbers mean. If it's like a volume control, the 127 could be 0 dB, and the 0 could be like negative 60 dB. So it turns it from off all the way up to fully on, that sort of thing. For a wah pedal, it may be a percentage of how much the envelope is applied. Do you tell her I always look grumpy, Keith? My actual name for my granddaughter is I am Grandpa. So that kind of tracks. It's the beard and the like. It makes it look like I'm always frowning. So, like I said, the actual numbers themselves are just the limits of what the control change will send. The numbers themselves may not necessarily be exactly a 1-for-1 situation. It's up for whatever is receiving that message as to what those numbers mean to it. Yeah, she literally gave me that nickname. So the way it works, though, is that you map whatever is receiving the MIDI commands to what those commands are. So, for example, like the way that my setup works for switching, like the overall tone, like my amp and cab, which are built together in NAMM. I went into the NAMM plugin and created a preset that sounds exactly like I wanted and saved it as a preset. And then I loaded the next NAMM model and cab that I wanted, dialed it in, saved that as preset 2, etc., etc. And then in Element, I went in and mapped program change 1 to load that first preset, and program change 2 to load that second preset, and so on and so forth. So when I send it that message, if it gets a PC1, it knows, okay, it wants me to load preset number 1. So I load, in this case, preset number 1 is, I believe, a JCM amplifier. And then if I hit another button that sends PC2, it's like, okay, you want me to load preset number 2, which in my case, I believe that's an Engel or something along those lines. So that's actually what matters. So the actual MIDI itself is just messages, and it's sent as a channel. There's up to 16 channels that can be sent, so it allows you to send the same messages under different channels. And then it's followed by the type of message, like I said, program change or control change or whatever, and then it's followed by the actual data. So, can you map a MIDI note command to run a shell script? Yes, you could. You absolutely could. It depends on what you have catching those commands, but you absolutely could. If you write something that listens for MIDI commands, and once it just have it listen for that one specific command, and then launch a shell script. I'm sure there are programs out there that absolutely can do that. So, anyways, that's what MIDI is. Any additional questions about MIDI? Hopefully that explains it well enough for you to have an idea of what MIDI is. It's literally just a group of commands that is agreed upon, that when it sends a signal, it just knows. Same here, Tom. It just knows this is the channel, this is the type of command, and this is the data. And it's up to whatever is listening on that MIDI to figure out what to do with it, that mapping that I talked about to you. Can MIDI cause spikes, such as resource spikes? Is that what you're talking about? Then the MIDI itself, probably not. I mean, it's just a few characters. Less than just a byte or two of data. I mean, we're talking tiny, tiny amounts of data. Now, when something catches that, once it triggers whatever it needs to process, sure, it can. But the chances of an actual MIDI command causing a spike, pretty low. Like, for example, I can pull up my loop MIDI. It's been running, well, as long as my entire computer has been running this time, which has been up for, I don't know, 2.5 days, including my stream last night with all my playing and everything. I've sent a total of 134 bytes of data. 1,340 bytes of data. I've sent 1K. That's not 1 megabyte. That's not 1 gigabyte. That's not 1 terabyte. That's 1K of data that has been sent through my MIDI, through the system. So it's so small that the likelihood is really, really low. Now, if like something was blasting a ton of data, like constantly and consistently, maybe. But it really depends on exactly what happened. It depends on your computer, George. It really depends on your computer itself. For me, I have to restart it every now and then because of the way Windows works and because of the crazy environment that I have for my audio. But my web server out there has been running for 170 days or so without a reboot. So it depends on the computer and what it's used for. Any other questions? We got a couple minutes left. Do I need to just sit here and stare at you? How you doing? Nobody wants to be up in your face like that. Except for my granddaughter. Whenever I buckle her into the car seat, she likes to bury her face in my beard. It's actually cute. It's super cute. I wouldn't have time to get marbles up and running before the stream would need to be over, Timmy. Good call, though. If I had it open, we could probably get one in. But it takes me a while to load it up, and Ted's stream is in 12 minutes. I mean, you need stuff to clip. I try to give you clippable moments. Yeah, apparently you need to not ask that. That's all right, Brett. We know you're here. I saw you pop in earlier. It's just now gotten. It was the dry cough before. It's just now starting to get a little bit on the wet side, which is the nasal drip. So if I can cut that off, I'll probably I'll probably prevent it from catching. But if not, yeah, I've got a long chest cold ahead of me. I already know it's gonna be rough. All right, last call for questions before we head over to Ted's Live. Thank you, everybody, for putting up with the for putting up with the technical difficulties at the beginning of the stream. It just happens. It's just a fact of life. It's going to happen whenever you stream. You just kind of got to deal with it. It's what I get for not restarting my computer before the stream. Can you control two functions with each push of your button? Yes, I sure can. So it depends on the actual controller, obviously. But like, for example, for the FCB 1010, each of the pedals can be assigned up to 5 different program changes. 1 or 2, I think it's 2 control changes, and can also send out additional data on 2 separate external buses. Like, for example, if you've got it plugged in to act as a foot switch pedal for an amp. So yeah, MIDI can actually absolutely most MIDI controllers can fire off multiple messages with one push. As a matter of fact, one of my stomps sends out multiple controls. It's a stomp that clears all of my clears out all of my effects. Just gives me turns all my effects off. That way, if I've got like 3 or 4 effects going, I can hit that, clear all of them off, and put one in. So start fresh if it's easier that way. So when I stomp on that, it actually sends out like 4 control changes. Or 4 program changes, excuse me. Could I? Yeah, theoretically, I could. For example, when I'm running Element, I actually do have the microphone running through Element. So, like, if I took the chain that I have the mic on, I could put like pitch proof, which is my pitch shifter, and then like I could take the it's got the ability to just change it via sense. And I could map that to like one of the expression pedals. So theoretically, I could make my voice go up or down. How many banks do I have filled up right now? Just 2. Primarily because if I have a bunch of banks while I'm playing, it's hard for me to look down and see the display on it. So if I have too many of them, there's a good chance I may flip over and be totally in a place where I'm not ready for. I've got the primary bank that I use while I'm playing, and then I got a bank number 2 that I will switch to between songs to actually control effects and stuff like that. Can I make a video for a demo for it? Could I? Yes. The main problem is setting up so that I can film in a way that doesn't show the absolute chaos that is under my desk. That's the problem with that. Because where it's at, it's got to be where it's at to be able to be plugged in with the cable and that sort of stuff. So first I'd have to get some lighting down there so you can see what's going on with the pedal. And then I'd have to find some way to hide a bunch of really badly managed cables and stuff like that. I might record something and then do some editing where I edit out a bunch of where you don't need to see a bunch of the stuff that's down there. I have 40 cables. That's a over exaggeration, but there's probably 20 down there. So, all right, last call for questions before I turn it over to Ted. Ted's live is in the pinned comment. Strongly suggest everybody pop in over there and give him all the love. No one can manage my cables. Yep, even the Magic 8-Ball says so. I mean, I understand. You know what? I'll try to make a better explainer video. Oh, my internet is dying on me. So that's our cue to finish it up. Keith, I'll reach out to you. I'll give you more info on it. Thanks, everybody, for watching tonight. Let's roll over to Ted's Live, and we'll see you all on tomorrow. We will be back at 10 a.m. at our normal time. Thanks, everybody, for joining us tonight.